A visionary emerges. Elizabeth Holmes takes on the world. Elizabeth Holmes, a name synonymous with both ambition and deceit, she captivated the world with her audacious vision, a vision of revolutionizing healthcare. Holmes, a Stanford dropout, dared to challenge the status quo. Her journey began with a simple, yet powerful idea. What if blood tests were less invasive and more accessible? This question would become the foundation of her company. It would also ultimately lead to her downfall. A budding innovator, the genesis of a groundbreaking idea. Holmes, a bright and ambitious student, was deeply affected by her own fear of needles. She envisioned a device that could perform a multitude of blood tests using just a few drops of blood. This idea, though seemingly simple, was a radical departure from traditional blood testing methods. The birth of Theranos. Revolutionizing healthcare, one drop at a time. The early years at Theranos were a whirlwind of activity. Holmes, determined to bring her vision to life, pushed her team to the limit. She demanded long hours and unwavering dedication. Silicon Valley's darling. The allure of innovation and disruption. Silicon Valley, a place where dreams are funded and fortunes are made. Elizabeth Holmes, with her bold vision and unwavering conviction, was a perfect fit for this world. Section 2. A vision takes shape, the Edison and the promise of a new era. At the heart of Theranos' promise was the Edison, the revolutionary blood testing device poised to change the world. This sleek, futuristic device, named after the renowned inventor Thomas Edison, was designed to perform hundreds of blood tests using just a few drops of blood obtained from a simple finger prick. The implications for healthcare were enormous. Section 3. The cult of personality, charisma and control in Theranos' inner circle. As Theranos grew, so too did the mystique surrounding its enigmatic founder. Elizabeth Holmes, with her unwavering self-belief and intense gaze, cultivated an aura of secrecy and control that permeated the company's culture. She demanded complete loyalty from her employees and instilled a deep fear of failure within the ranks. Section 4. Beyond the hype, whispers of doubt, and the price of secrecy. Despite the glowing media coverage and enthusiastic investors, cracks began to appear in Theranos' carefully constructed facade. Whispers of doubt circulated among industry experts and former employees. Some questioned whether the Edison could truly deliver on its ambitious promises. A partnership forged in ambition. Theranos and Walgreens joined forces. In 2013, Theranos announced a groundbreaking partnership with Walgreens, one of the largest pharmacy chains in the United States. This deal, hailed as a major coup for the young company, promised to bring Theranos' revolutionary blood test to the masses. Walgreens, eager to be at the forefront of healthcare innovation, saw the partnership as an opportunity to attract new customers and enhance its image as a health and wellness destination. The allure of celebrity and power-influential figures embraced Theranos. As Theranos' star rose, Elizabeth Holmes skillfully cultivated relationships with powerful and influential figures, adding to the company's aura of legitimacy and credibility. She assembled a board of directors stacked with prominent names, including former U.S. Secretaries of State Henry Kissinger and George Shultz. These elder statesmen, with their decades of experience in government and international affairs, lent an air of gravitas to Theranos. Doubts linger in the shadows. Scientists and experts raise concerns. While Theranos basked in the glow of positive media attention and high-profile endorsements, a growing chorus of scientists and medical experts began to raise concerns about the company's claims and practices. These experts, many of whom had spent years working in the field of laboratory diagnostics, were skeptical of Theranos' claims that it could perform hundreds of blood tests using just a few drops of blood. They pointed out that blood is a complex fluid and the concentration of different components can vary depending on the method of collection and the volume of blood drawn. Traditional blood tests, which typically require several vials of blood, are designed to account for these variations and ensure accurate results. Theranos' approach, which relied on significantly smaller blood samples, raised concerns about the potential for inaccurate or misleading results. Adding to the skepticism, Theranos refused to publish its data in peer-reviewed scientific journals, a standard practice in the scientific community for sharing research findings and subjecting them to scrutiny by other experts. The company claimed that its technology was a trade secret, but the lack of transparency only fueled the doubts. Despite these concerns, Theranos continued to operate in secrecy, dismissing its critics as jealous competitors or naysayers who didn't understand the revolutionary nature of its technology. Elizabeth Holmes, with her unwavering self-belief and ability to inspire loyalty, managed to maintain the confidence of investors and the public, even as the cracks in Theranos' facade began to widen. In early 2015, John Carreyrou, an investigative reporter at the Wall Street Journal, received a tip from a former Theranos employee who questioned the accuracy of the company's blood tests. Intrigued, Carreyrou began digging deeper, contacting other former employees, medical experts, and industry insiders. As Carreyrou delved into the world of Theranos, he encountered a wall of secrecy and intimidation. The company, fiercely protective of its image and technology, refused to cooperate with his inquiries. Employees, bound by confidentiality agreements and fearful of retaliation, were reluctant to speak out. Undeterred, Carreyrou persisted, piecing together a picture of a company that was misleading investors, regulators, and the public about its capabilities. Carreyrou's investigation, published in a series of explosive articles in the Wall Street Journal beginning in October 2015, sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley and the healthcare industry. His reporting revealed that Theranos' Edison device was plagued with problems and that the company was relying on traditional blood testing machines to process the majority of its tests, often diluting blood samples to make them compatible with the Edison. Carreyrou's articles exposed the truth about Theranos, shattering the company's carefully crafted image and raising serious questions about Elizabeth Holmes' leadership. His relentless pursuit of the truth, despite facing legal threats and intimidation tactics, would ultimately lead to Theranos' downfall and expose one of the biggest corporate scandals in recent history. The whispers started subtly, like a gentle breeze rustling through the leaves. Industry insiders and scientists began to share their doubts about Theranos in hushed tones. Could this company truly be revolutionizing healthcare as it claimed? Or was it all a carefully constructed illusion, a mirage in the desert of Silicon Valley hype? Richard Fuiz, a former business associate, was among the first to openly question Theranos' claims. Fuiz filed a complaint with the SEC alleging that Theranos was misleading investors. While the SEC's initial investigation did not lead to immediate action, Fuiz's allegations planted seeds of doubt. Within the scientific community, skepticism about Theranos' claims continued to mount. Experts raised eyebrows at the company's refusal to publish data or disclose details. The secrecy surrounding Theranos now raised red flags for those who understood the complexities of blood testing. Despite the culture of fear at Theranos, a small group of individuals dared to speak out. These whistleblowers risked their careers to expose what they believed to be a massive fraud. Tyler Schultz, a former lab technician and grandson of George Schultz, was one such whistleblower. He confided in his grandfather but was dismissed. Undeterred, Tyler contacted John Carreyrou at the Wall Street Journal. Using a pseudonym, he provided inside information about Theranos' misleading practices. Erica Chung, another former lab technician, joined Schultz in exposing the truth. Driven by a strong moral compass, they courageously stepped forward, setting in motion a chain of events that would bring down Theranos. Section 3. The walls close in, regulatory scrutiny intensifies. As John Carreyrou's investigation for the Wall Street Journal gained momentum, Theranos faced increasing scrutiny from regulators. The company, which had long operated in secrecy, dismissing any criticism as unfounded attacks, now faced a reckoning as the evidence of its deception mounted. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services launched an investigation. CMS inspectors descended on Theranos' laboratory in Newark, California, revealing unqualified personnel, unsanitary conditions, and a lack of proper quality control. The FDA also took notice of Theranos. The agency began to question the company's claims about the device's accuracy. The FDA launched its own investigation. Theranos found itself on the defensive. The company resorted to delaying tactics and legal maneuvering. However, the walls were closing in, and the company's once bright future was beginning to dim. Section 4. A reckoning begins. The house of cards starts to crumble. John Carreyrou's exposé on Theranos in the Wall Street Journal sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. The article, based on months of meticulous reporting, painted a damning portrait of deception. It revealed that Theranos' Edison device was plagued with problems. The company's stock price plummeted and its partnerships began to unravel. Elizabeth Holmes became the face of one of the biggest corporate scandals. The house of cards Holmes constructed was beginning to crumble. Section 1. The Walls Close-In Investigations, Sanctions, and the Crumbling Empire. The year 2016 proved to be a turning point, marking the beginning of the end for Theranos. The once lauded startup, now under intense scrutiny, saw its world crumble as regulatory bodies tightened the noose. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, in July, dropped the hammer, banning Holmes from owning or operating a blood testing lab for 2 years. This was a devastating blow, signaling to investors and partners that Theranos was in serious trouble. Adding to the pressure, the Securities and Exchange Commission filed fraud charges against Theranos, Holmes, and former company president Ramesh Balwani in March 2018. The SEC alleged that they had engaged in an elaborate, years-long fraud, deceiving investors, doctors, and patients about the capabilities of their blood testing technology. The charges were serious, carrying hefty fines and the potential for jail time. Holmes settled with the SEC, agreeing to pay a $500,000 fine, relinquishing control of Theranos, and being barred from serving as an officer or director of a publicly traded company for 10 years. However, she did not admit to any wrongdoing, maintaining her innocence and vowing to fight the charges. Balwani, on the other hand, chose to fight the charges, setting the stage for a high-profile trial. The weight of the investigations and sanctions proved too much for Theranos to bear. The company, once valued at $9 billion, was hemorrhaging money and facing a barrage of lawsuits from investors, patients, and partners. In September 2018, Theranos announced it was shutting down, its assets liquidated, and its remaining employees laid off. The once promising startup, built on a foundation of deception, was no more. The dissolution of Theranos in September 2018 marked a dramatic fall from grace for a company that had once been hailed as a beacon of Silicon Valley innovation. The company's demise left a trail of broken promises, shattered dreams, and a legacy of distrust in the tech industry's ability to disrupt healthcare. Investors, who had poured billions of dollars into Theranos, were left licking their wounds, their dreams of outsized returns dashed by the company's fraudulent practices. Patients, who had entrusted Theranos with their health information, were left wondering if their test results were accurate and reliable. Some reported receiving conflicting or questionable results, leading to unnecessary anxiety, delayed diagnoses, and potentially harmful medical decisions. The Theranos scandal served as a stark reminder of the importance of rigorous scientific validation, regulatory oversight, and ethical conduct in the healthcare industry. The collapse of Theranos also had a ripple effect on the startup ecosystem, particularly in the healthcare sector. Investors became more cautious, scrutinizing the claims of health tech startups more closely and demanding greater transparency and scientific rigor. The scandal served as a wake-up call, highlighting the need for greater due diligence, ethical conduct, and a focus on patient safety over hype and profit. The demise of Theranos left a void in the healthcare industry, a void that many hoped would be filled by legitimate innovators, developing truly revolutionary technologies to improve patient care. The scandal served as a reminder that while the pursuit of innovation is essential, it must be grounded in ethics, transparency, and a commitment to the well-being of patients above all else. Facing justice, Elizabeth Holmes and Balwani in the legal crosshairs. While Theranos crumbled, the legal troubles for its top executives were just beginning. The U.S. Department of Justice filed criminal charges against Elizabeth Holmes and Sunny Balwani in June 2018, accusing them of engaging in a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud investors and patients. The charges included wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud Theranos' patients. The trial, which began in March 2021, captivated the nation, offering a rare glimpse into the inner workings of Silicon Valley and the culture of secrecy and ambition that can sometimes lead to ethical lapses. Prosecutors argued that Holmes and Balwani knowingly misled investors and the public about the capabilities of their technology, all while raking in millions of dollars in investments and personal wealth. The defense, on the other hand, portrayed Holmes as a passionate, hard-working entrepreneur who made mistakes, but never intended to defraud anyone. They argued that she was a victim of her own ambition and the pressures of Silicon Valley's fake-it-till-you-make-it culture. The jury, however, was not swayed by this argument. In January 2022, Holmes was found guilty on 4 counts of fraud and conspiracy, while Balwani was found guilty on all 12 counts against him in a separate trial later that year. The verdicts were seen as a victory for justice and a warning to other entrepreneurs who might be tempted to cut corners or mislead investors in pursuit of their ambitions. The price of deception, lessons learned, and the lingering impact of the Theranos saga. The Theranos saga is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition, the allure of a compelling narrative, and the importance of ethics and integrity in business. It serves as a stark reminder that even the most brilliant minds driven by noble intentions can succumb to the temptation to cut corners, mislead others, and prioritize profit over people. The scandal has had a lasting impact on the healthcare industry, Silicon Valley, and the public's perception of innovation. It has spurred calls for greater transparency and accountability in the tech industry, particularly in the healthcare sector where lives are at stake. Investors have become more wary of hype and more demanding of scientific rigor, while regulators have stepped up their scrutiny of health tech startups, recognizing the potential for harm if these companies are not held to the highest standards. The Theranos story also highlights the critical role of whistleblowers in holding powerful entities accountable. The courage of individuals like Tyler Schultz and Erica Chung, who risked their careers and reputations to expose the truth, was instrumental in bringing down Theranos and preventing further harm to patients. Their actions serve as a powerful reminder that speaking truth to power is essential, even when it's difficult, and that protecting the public interest should always be paramount. The Theranos saga is a story that will continue to be studied and debated for years to come. It is a story that has it all: ambition, deception, betrayal, and ultimately, a reckoning. It is a story that reminds us that the pursuit of progress must never come at the expense of ethical conduct, and that the price of deception is always far greater than the allure of a shortcut to success. The Shadow of Theranos, a legacy of distrust and the quest for redemption. The Theranos scandal cast a long shadow over Silicon Valley, leaving a legacy of distrust. The company's rise and fall served as a cautionary tale about unchecked ambition and the power of hype. Many questioned how a company with such audacious claims could deceive so many. The Theranos story became synonymous with corporate greed and ethical lapses. The company's implosion tarnished Silicon Valley's reputation, raising questions about the culture of secrecy. The scandal also had a chilling effect on the healthcare industry. Elizabeth Holmes, once a media darling, became a pariah, her name synonymous with fraud. Stripped of her fortune, Holmes embarked on a quest for redemption. She married Billy Evans and gave birth to 2 children, seeking solace in family life. However, her efforts to rehabilitate her image were met with skepticism. The Theranos scandal remained a stark reminder of the human cost of corporate malfeasance. Beyond the rubble, lessons learned and the enduring power of truth. The Theranos saga, while deeply troubling, also offered valuable lessons about the importance of due diligence, skepticism, and the courage to speak truth to power. The scandal underscored the need for greater transparency and accountability in the tech industry, particularly in sectors like healthcare where lives are at stake. Investors, burned by the Theranos experience, became more cautious, demanding greater scrutiny of startups' claims, particularly those with bold promises and disruptive technologies. The importance of scientific validation, peer-reviewed research and regulatory oversight was reinforced, reminding entrepreneurs that hype and charisma are no substitute for substance and integrity. The Theranos story also highlighted the critical role of whistleblowers in holding powerful entities accountable. Tyler Schultz and Erica Chung, the former Theranos employees who risked their careers and reputations to expose the company's fraud, became symbols of courage and integrity. Their actions, along with the relentless reporting of John Carreyrou, demonstrated the power of investigative journalism and the importance of a free press in holding those in power accountable. The Theranos scandal served as a stark reminder that the pursuit of innovation must never come at the expense of ethical conduct. It underscored the need for a culture of accountability, where individuals feel empowered to speak up when they witness wrongdoing, and where institutions prioritize integrity over profit. In the end, the Theranos saga is a story about the enduring power of truth, the importance of holding those in power accountable, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of deception.